Okay, we just finished up the Ajax lecture. We're going to move to class 22. This is the web services lecture. You can go to class 22, download the before class content zip, and we're going to upload it to our server. So what I like to do is download the zip, unzip it, and then simply upload that to my lectures directory on the server. So here's my lectures directory. I can just drag and drop from my file system. Okay, let's see what happened there. I can drag and drop to FileZilla. It's going to upload to my lectures directory, and then we can start on the server from there. So I'm going to open up Web Services, and we're going to open up Ajax Basics. So what we're going to do today is we're going to recode our Ajax calls, our Ajax request, in a much easier way. So if you remember us coding in the previous lectures, here's an example behind me. You'll see how much code that is, and actually it's kind of difficult to code. So let's see how we can make that much easier by using jQuery. So I'll open up basics.html, and now you're going to see the code that we wrote before. So here's the code that we wrote before as an example. I'm going to comment that out just right before the close bracket, and we're going to write this same equivalent code in jQuery right here. Okay, so when this function is called, we made a Ajax object. We set up what happens when I get the response. We display the loading message. We open up the request and we send the request. When the request comes back, I'll grab the response text and update the UI. Okay, so that's complicated. Let's see how we can do it using jQuery. So jQuery has a nice get function. Now the get function has 3 parameters. The second one's optional. The first one is a requirement, which is going to be, where is this going to? Where's this get request going to? So this is going to be an Ajax get request. And the third parameter is a requirement, which is the return function. When the data comes back, this function will get called. Okay, I'm putting it all in one line so you can see it. And this function here in this get request is basically this function here. Okay, so I'm sending it to responder.php. Here's responder.php. This get function will create the object. It will set up the function on the return, which is right here. It's going to open up the request. Of course, it's going to be asynchronous because we want to use the asynchronous option, and it's going to send the request. So the only part I need to put is where it's going to and what happens when the Ajax request returns. So when it returns, you'll see here I updated the content box inner HTML with the response text. Now data in this function's parameter is going to be the response text. So all I have to do is grab the content box. Okay, so I'm going to use jQuery. I'm going to use a CSS selector, grab the content box. So that's an ID because you see the hashtag. Change the inner HTML with data. That's the same as what we're doing here. Grab the element by ID, change the inner HTML to the data from the server, which is what we did here. Here's the data from the server. Change the inner HTML with the response. So data here is my response. Okay, now that's it. So you're going to see about 10 lines of code change into 3 lines of code. So you see how simple that is. The code down below and the code up above is equivalent except for one line, which is this line right here. I need to display that loading message. So if you want to display the loading message with jQuery, you're going to do it before you make the GET request. So here I'll grab the content box. I'll change the inner HTML to display the loading message. Okay, so this is a requirement in the challenge. So now all these lines turned into 3 or 4 lines of code. Okay, now let's run this. So I'll update the code on the server, come to the browser, okay, open up that page. So I'm going to open up, if I do a refresh, you'll see web services. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to open up number 1, Ajax Basics and basics.html. So I click the button. This is what I get. $ is not defined. A reference error. Okay, so have you seen this before? If you've seen this before, you know that we forgot to import the jQuery library. Now I've included jQuery for you. You just have to put it in the script tag here. So I'll do a script tag. I'll have the source. And if I look on the server, because remember this code's being ran on the server, if I go back a directory, I have jQuery 1.11.2. So I need to do that same link here. Go back a directory and access jQuery -1.11.2.min.js. Okay, so I can access that jQuery library. So now when I import the jQuery library, you should see that error go away. So I'll update the server. Okay, let's see, come back here, do a refresh, click on the get content, you'll see it's loading. I didn't get that error. A few seconds later, it says hello Ajax. So for the challenge, you can actually use this code for the home button. Okay, for the home button, all you need to do is change this link to my server's address. Make sure you update your content box, and then display that hello, display the string returned from the server on your page. So this is a good example for the home button using jQuery. Okay, the top code and the bottom code are equivalent. Remember, data is the response text. So if I were to print this out, if I do a console.dir, print out data, okay, upload it to the server, do a refresh, click on get. Okay, refresh again, click on get. Hold on, I don't think it uploaded to the server. Okay, it should be done now. Refresh, click on get. When it comes back, you'll see that same string in the console because we printed it out. So data is just the response text from the server. Okay, continue on to the next video to look at the next coding example.